You've tuned in to Gritty Birds at my new home, KXRY Portland X-Ray FM, 107.1 and 91.1. I'm your host, Jenny Wren Statrup. Gritty Birds goes behind the scenes of the music industry with intimate conversations profiling the personalities and insights of the grittiest artists, makers, and key voices on the West Coast and beyond, every Thursday from 1 to 1:30. Recently, I went to Treefort Music Festival in beautiful Boise, Idaho, partnering with DIY label Self Group and photographer Ingrid Renan to interview national and international artists about finding success without losing your ethic in today's changing landscape, and their advice for young artists just starting. In the second part of the Treefort series, I interviewed Lizzie Ellison of Radiation City. Ellison was the first artist I tested out the interview series on over a year and a half ago, one dark fall night at a Banana Stand KPSU All Ages showcase. At the time, the band had just finished much of the work on their third full-length Synesthetica. Portland staples, the band and the album went through many changes as the group tried out new approaches to recording and shifted their lineup, using home studio live takes with recordings at John Vanderslice's studio in San Francisco that were then fused with the help of Modest Mouse producer Jamie Scherer. The album, released last spring on Polyvinyl Records, is an evolution of their signature sound, creating sensual textures and drama with a stronger focus on pop. I sat down with Ellison to talk about the origins of the band, made up of Cameron Spies, Randy Bermos, and Patty King, and the recording of Synesthetica between their U.S. and European tours, and what will be the first of many interviews with the artists. Welcome to Gritty Birds, Radiation City.
Good afternoon.
Oh, it is afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Easter.
It is Easter. That's so crazy.
You're my first interview today.
Yay.
And you were the first one I interviewed. Remember that day?
Mm-hmm.
So funny.
Yeah. I feel like all of a sudden time has caught up with me.
Has it?
I don't know. Yeah.
Does it ever?
I don't. Sometimes, and then maybe it goes away, but I'm all of a sudden feeling like this gentleman just stopped us outside and was like, I met you a couple years ago. You kids have grown. You've matured. And I was like, man, that is just, I don't remember you, but in a nutshell, that's how I feel. Like I've graduated from high school or something, and I'm on to the next phase of life or something. I don't know. It's good.
The new album just finally came out. Like, that was a long project, and you guys spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of time, a lot of like being in your head too much and critiquing everything. And I don't know if you've heard of demoitis, but we demo so hard that when we go to record, we're like, you know, like a lot of bands, just really partial to the original idea, and because you kind of capture the sentiment and the emotion and all that in that initial thing, even if it's not recorded well. But so there's a lot of that, and then a lot of personal issues and figuring all that out, and then not really being happy with the record and having someone else kind of like reproduce it, which took another 8 months, and then finding a label, which we're so stoked to be on Polyvinyl, but then it was like, okay, well, it's not coming out till next year. I'm like, okay. So yeah, lots of build-up, lots of anticipation, but like having gotten done with this tour now and it's out, you know, and the reception is like awesome. And yeah, there's sort of like that, even though it's relieving, it's also like a lot of stress, like kind of realizing in hindsight like how much went into it emotionally and physically.
Yeah. So you do most of the recording. You guys have a studio in Portland. And then did you exclusively record there, or did you operate out of other places this time?
We initially, let's see, we did a bunch. We did like 25 demos at Randy's, and then Cam's parents have a house up in Washington, so we do like set up, you know, microphones and stuff and just kind of demo stuff out there. But as far as the like actual recordings, we went to San Francisco, and it was the first time that it was like, we don't ever do live takes of stuff where like we're playing as a band. It's always kind of like stitched together and like a really nice tapestry of things, but yeah, so this time it was like, okay, play all together and then we'll like add stuff on top. So that was mainly just like trying to practice getting out of our own system, you know, just to be like, well, maybe this other thing could work. It didn't work, but at least we know now that that's not really our thing.
Still no live room?
No. I mean, maybe like for some stuff, but like the whole record was like that, and then we just overdubbed vocals and whatever. And I think it allowed us to realize that the like sort of the core of our writing is based on how we record it, you know, hearing someone in the other room kind of laying down the bass line and then like having an epiphany of like, oh, this thing would be really cool over it, and then going in and doing it, as opposed to like someone being in charge who you're not really comfortable with, kind of having someone kind of be like, you're paying me to make the decisions, so I'm the final say. I don't think that works for us.
Yeah.
I think we work really well together, and you know, we don't always like get along, but our final product is always something we're really happy with. So so yeah, it was definitely a different recording process.
So the final part, like what you ended up, the final product came from a little, you said the stuff you put down there, but then all overdubbed and built on.
So everything that we did, we thought we finished the record, and then when we came back, we gave it a couple weeks and just decided maybe it sounded good, but it didn't sound like us. And so we ended up taking our demos and fusing them with those recordings. I shouldn't even say we. Jeremy Scher, who works at the Modest Mouse studio in Portland, kind of worked his magic and that's why it took so long. It was like, it wasn't as easy as just like, oh, I'm gonna overlay this on top and they match perfectly. It was like, tempos are different and this isn't the same structure, and like, so it was like recreating. It's kind of like a Frankenstein. Yeah. Yeah, essentially. Luckily, all the demos were pretty, were pretty finished on our end. So, God, just so much time. It's crazy. It's still really hard to think about.
So is this your third record?
It's our third full length.
Yeah.
We did an EP after the first record.
When did you guys first become a band together?
Cam and I started this project. We started like writing songs in 2009. So Cam had just moved back up here from San Francisco. And then we each had separate projects, and then we started writing more songs, and we're realizing like these don't actually fit with either project. Let's start another group. And then we had our first show booked for like February 28th, 2009 at, oh my God, what was next to Backspace?
Oh, I know the space that you're thinking of. It had really great, it was one of the only places you could have really great jazz in town before they cut all the venues. Oh gosh, it's gonna come back to me later.
That's really sad. It hasn't been closed that long, but it probably has been.
So you played there?
Damn.
I know.
No, so
it's been too long. All the venues are closing.
I know.
In Portland. It's weird.
We were scheduled to play, I can't remember, we were going to play with some band, and then I found out my dad died really suddenly. Like 3 days before the show. And so we canceled, obviously, and I kind of like fell off the map for like 8 months. And then we started kind of recollecting ourselves and getting out of like some depression, and we played that fall or that winter our first show, and then Randy played our second show, and then Matt played our third show, and then Patty played like, I don't know, PDX Pop Now was her first show with us, I think, of 2010. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it kind of just like fell into place really perfectly.
Yeah.
So since 2009.
I met you the year after you won Best New Band, the year before Shy Girls won.
Okay.
And I remember running into you guys outside, and like you were like my favorite band in town. And I remember Cam and you coming out being like, "Oh my gosh, we're big fans." And I'm like, "Oh my God, they're talking to me." I'm like, "What's going on?"
We saw you guys at PDX Pop because that was the first show.
Yeah, and then we played 3 shows in like immediately.
Oh yeah.
Because Holocene had their party, and like Gina just like really loved Dan's work.
Yeah.
And so I met you guys at that show because
Yeah.
it was one of those things where I relate to like where it just kind of all, once it starts happening, it all kind of comes together.
Yeah.
And that was our similar experiences. Like I was just playing a background for a gig, and then it was a year of just awesomeness. And, getting to like kind of get to know you guys, and like the process that you've been through ever since then has been like kind of special for me in Portland. So I don't know, it's
like how people have been. I was super scared that people were gonna think like, oh, they're doing that thing where, they're sort of getting popular and they're changing their sound. I can't even say that anything we make after this will even sound like this record.
I know when you were working on it, when you guys were doing the demoing, I heard like you were playing that set out. You played one Music Fest Northwest set with, I want to say it was Minden Net Star. It was like kind of an auxiliary show.
Oh, yeah.
And then you played the Banana Stand like show with the All Ages. Mm-hmm. And like I loved the new material, and that was when you guys were in the studio putting that first steps of it down. And it did have like a much kind of poppier and fun approach to it, but I really appreciated that you guys were taking that risk from going from kind of the surfy wash landscape that had kind of made you well known before that. Yeah. That's a scary step to take.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe some musicians are really like conscientious and like forward thinking in their craft of like, okay, this is my 10-year plan and these are the types of albums I want to make. But for us, it's just kind of like, I don't know, what feels right now, and, you know, to be, like, overly thoughtful about, like, I don't know. I think there's something to be said for, like, aesthetic and continuity and cohesion, but I also we don't want to, like, make the same records over and over again. And I think anybody, even if you don't like music, you can relate to the simple concept of, like, you evolve as a person, you grow, you aren't the same person you were a week ago, or maybe you are, or whatever, but, you know, like, in terms of time, like, you change, and to think that someone's art shouldn't do that, I think because people hold it so dearly, and, like, I don't know, a lot of people say that our first record is, like, their favorite. It's like, God, so have we just gone downhill since then? You know?
Or is it that concept of when you hear something for the first time, it's the thing that ties you to that
Right.
experience?
Right.
Which makes me think of, I hadn't known until recently, of course, that Synesthetica, that you have that connection to music in a way that most people don't.
Well, the first record is called The Hands That Take You, which is based on ASMR, which is a phenomenon when you can, like, look up videos where people, like, the way they talk or the way that they touch things or the sounds of things kind of gives you this, like, meditative state. And Cam and I found out that we both had it once we met each other, and we'd both had it our whole lives and didn't know that we didn't know anybody else that had it.
Really?
And then a guy came to our show in Atlanta and was like, you know, it's called ASMR. And we were like, what? We just thought it was this freak thing or whatever. It's an awesome thing. There's no bad side effects to it. So then, yeah, so kind of then making this record on, like, the synesthesia, it was just like, whoa, I'm kind of a sensory-driven human being, like, for better or worse. And I'm a female, so, yeah.
A lot of emotions.
A lot of emotions.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody about how just, like, being crazy helps your art, and your art makes you crazy.
There was a really great video that went around, and it's a filmographer or a director down in like LA area who has bipolar, and how the way that we treat the way that we experience the world, let's just put it that way, is often kind of to suppress and to take away. But a lot of the, like, Nobel laureates, I think it's something like the percentage of Nobel laureates with bipolar is, like, staggeringly high.
Yeah.
And, like, being able to take your gifts and not have it be the other way around is,
Right.
like, the word crazy is not a good word.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if I just, you know, you feel that way when you feel alone in a situation. Like last night, I was just, like, in the hotel room, like, getting all these texts, like, oh, we're here, and I'm just like, I just can't feel social right now. I was also feeling, I, like, threw up yesterday, I don't know, I was feeling really weird. And part of me was like yelling at myself for, like, you're here, you should be enjoying this, like, go see these people that you haven't seen in a while, and, like, you get to hang out with Portland people in a different city, like, everything about it is amazing, but at the same time I was just like, I couldn't move.
I couldn't last night either.
Yeah.
Like, I got done late and I had a very similar experience, and that's why when I took off, I had to take off my lanyard, and so we're in the press lounge with a lanyard.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's okay.
big deal.
But no, I mean, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, without music, I don't know where who I would be, but
when did you start playing?
my brother and I started taking piano lessons. I couldn't read, so I was probably
Someday
like,
Lounge.
That's it.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I had to say
I
it
knew
before
it
I
started
forgot.
with S.
Okay, all right.
Damn it.
So your brother and you started piano.
Yeah, I don't think I could, like, actually read text at the time, so I don't know, however old you are when you learn to read, 3 or 4 or something.
It varies.
Yeah, I was really young, and I remember my teacher being really old. She had, like, really, like, witchy fingers, but she was also really good. But I don't think I was, like, absorbing it correctly. So I only took it for about a month, but my brother kept playing, and so what I would do is just kind of like sit in the kitchen and listen to him play, and then when he was finished, I would go in and play what he played. So I was all auditory,
Oral.
yeah, just like,
Your training.
yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
when, you know, when people are like, oh, can you read music? Like, I could. It would take me a really long time. But I'm, much better at just, like, listening and playing. So I started, we had, like, a really awesome piano my whole life.
What did you play? What was your piano?
It was a Steinway Baby Grand.
Oh, you did have a really nice piano.
Yeah, it was really nice. So it sounded really good, and it, like, made me want to play it.
What piano do you have now?
I don't actually have a piano. I have a synthesizer. I sold my Wurlitzer. And I sold my Rhodes. But I play a Juno 106, which is actually awesome if you can just put your headphones on and just zone out. I really have learned to appreciate synthesizers a lot. But yeah, I started like writing when I was 13 or 14, and it wasn't good at all.
But you did it.
I did it. I made a CD when I was like 17. Had like a CD release party, and I played forever, but like never really had any clue what I was doing. I was always like, this is awful. Like, this feels good because it's my diary or whatever, but I was like, I never actually want anyone to hear this. And then moving to Portland, which was kind of my hope, was like living in Chicago for 6 years and not really finding my niche. Felt just like, maybe I'm not supposed to do this, But then moving to Portland, and I started playing music with my stepbrother. Do you know Mark? He has a company called Monkey Head Press.
I don't think I've met him yet.
You would like him. He's a printmaker in town, but we had a band, or a duo called Soap Collectors. And then Cam joined, and then Riley, who plays drums in UMO, played with us, and it was super fun. It was electronic, like
I
girl,
was always
kind of
wondering
like
where Riley came in the picture.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a whole nother story
For another day.
for another day.
Well, let's start here and let's touch base again.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. The question I'm asking everybody in this series is, for artists just starting out, what's your piece of advice?
My roommate is a yoga instructor, and she just told me the other day, no feeling lasts forever. And I think it's applicable in this situation because, like I just said, I'm super sensory overload, but it's so easy to feel failure in this career, in this industry. And it's really hard to feel successful, but you do. You feel both of those things. And as long as you can know that neither one really matters, then you keep doing it. But it's hard.
Yeah. Awesome. Lizzie, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks again for tuning in to Gritty Birds, and to Lizzie Ellison of Radiation City for talking with me. You've listened to the tracks Juicy and Come and Go off the recently released full-length Synesthetica, out now on Polyvinyl Records. Check out episodes from last season, as well as blog posts on new releases in West Coast music on GrittyBirds.com. Full episodes are released on iTunes and SoundCloud every Monday. Please follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Gritty Birds and on xray.fm. You've tuned in to KXRY Portland, X-Ray FM, 107.1, 91.1. We are currently in the middle of our membership drive, so go online to xray.fm to become a part of the independent radio community. Tune in again next week at the same time, Thursday from 1 to 1:30, for the next installment of the Treefort series, featuring Wimps.
Where do you come from? Where do you go? How could you be here if you're down in a hole? Wake up, the night is over.